I'm Jack Enyart, and I'm pleased to welcome you to Art with Enyart. And Art with Enyart is on laARTstream and webcast. These are two websites, and we are pleased to bring you the best in edgy stuff. And boy, we got edge here today. We have Ash Hudson, and we're going to get into areas that I know nothing about, and he's going to help me here. Ash, would it be proper to say that you are the original hip-hop graffiti lifestyle clothing store proprietor, just to begin with?
Well, no, for sure. We're definitely the original hip-hop streetwear brand. Okay. We just recently opened a store.
Yeah, okay. 20 years you're in this, though, right?
Yes. 89 we started.
Okay, all right. So you are not a newbie on this. Great. Okay. And like I say, I know very little about this, so you're going to inform me. How would you define... We're going to roll images rather randomly during this program because he's got so much stuff going on, and we didn't want to interrupt this conversation too much. How would you define this lifestyle?
Gee, it's the visual art form of hip hop. So it's definitely the hip hop lifestyle. It's the you know, there's 5 or 6 elements that make up hip-hop, and that would be the MCs, the break dancers, the DJs, the audience that supports it, but this is like the visual art form, and there was nobody really doing anything kind of designed specifically for the market, and so I guess that's where con art kind of came into play.
Yeah, that's amazing when you think about what has happened in 20 years. You know, you go back and you know, there's an incredible evolution here.
No, it's huge. It's become a worldwide, you know, art form. I would say it's one of the biggest artistic movements ever because you have youth all around the world very influenced by American culture. This all originating, you know, the art form from New York originally, but it's one of the coolest art movements, and there really is youth in Africa, Australia, Japan, all throughout, you know, European continents, and so it's huge. It's a big
Forget about all that, though. We grew up in Hollywood, right?
Right.
Hollywood. And so we met on Fairfax.
At Cantor's.
Where it all happens. Yeah, okay. No, so you're 2 doors down from Cantor's, the classic deli on
Yeah, no,
on
that's definitely a landmark for that area. Cantor's is...
you can't escape it.
No, it's a great spot.
So you've got to tell me about your Hollywood upbringing.
Well, gee, okay.
Okay.
I guess I'd have to be the epitome of that true Hollywood kid or something, right?
I thought I was.
Yeah. No, well, yeah, probably from just. But
somewhere between you and me was the epitome of the Hollywood kid.
What? Let's see. You know that Hollywood lifestyle. Where to begin? You know, my mom went to Hollywood High. She was a dancer and artist, and my father was an artist as well. Somehow they kind of met because they had similar interests. She was costume designing at the time in London. I believe she was designing at that point for David Bowie and some of the Beatles, costume designs and stage stuff.
Now you have our attention, yes.
And
so did you see this stuff around the house?
Oh no, for sure. I mean, it was definitely my, you know, like growing up around the house. My toys and art supplies and so this was definitely, I grew up around fabric and thimbles and you know color pastels and chalks and development equipment. They had a photography lab in the house, so we developed our own equipment and whatnot.
You know, people ask me, how do you get into the arts? I say, just get born into the right family.
Yeah, right. You know, it's funny because my family preached it like it was a mom that would want her kid to be a doctor. And so I would get that. How come you're not drawing? Where's your artwork? She would push it like vigilantly.
My mother would say, she'd say, I don't know, I don't have no good examples in the family. She says, if I want you to be out of the arts, I don't know, you know, everybody's doing something weird in the family. So, you know, yeah, that's where it comes from, right?
Yeah, no.
So,
It's funny. It's definitely a bloodline for me. It was something that my, you know, real, like, pleasure is creating, designing, seeing things become physical, form, people wearing this, it being celebrities or friends of mine or whatever. So to have an idea and for it to become a physical concept and for people to enjoy it and and to wear it and whatever.
You just answered my next question, which is a core question I try to ask artists, which is, what's your basic skill or what is your basic wellspring there? And that seems to be it for you.
Well,
is it?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's
and yet you're a businessman too, so
it's there's been a crash course at business. It was something that I had to become. I started con art when I was 16. So it was not done for any kind of
figures here together, and I couldn't figure this.
Yeah, okay, that was 16 years old when I started doing con art, and so it wasn't done for any real kind of capital gain. It was done for the love of filling a void. There was nothing else like it at the time. So there was, streetwear or hip hop product prior to say con art was like Adidas, Nikes, Ben Davis, Carhartt, things of this nature that weren't really designed for them. It was just that they took to those items and then rocked it a certain way. So they'd wear it, oversized, baggy, hats to the side or backwards, and just kind of wore their things in a style all their own. But nobody was catering to the specific scene. I think, so con art was the first kind of boutique company to ever come out and really have something that was like designed by hip-hop for hip-hop, right? It was it wasn't like a corporate company saying, "Oh, there's money to be made in, urban hip hop apparel." And so this was kind of like we were the realest of the real, the truest in the game, in a sense.
What kind of an art education did you have?
Well, geez, shit, I dropped out of high school, so I didn't really have much of an education at all. I literally dropped out of school, started con art. Within a year, I was traveling the world. I was going to Japan. I was all over Europe. I've been to Japan, probably 10 times now. I've been to...
So there must have been a key point where you're doing your own artwork and you realize at a certain point that you're going to collaborate with and have business relationships with other artists. Was this a big
totally.
deal? Or, yeah.
It was, in the beginning, all my own work. And so the first collection was all my designs. Oh. And I remember taking them around to some of the stores and they'd kind of critique them and I would take it personally. I then started working with artists that I felt, were like so much more skilled than I, but yet maybe lacking the concept or whatever it was.
That's great, isn't it? Because it's better than selling yourself. It's like you go in and you say...
Well, now I was confident because I knew this shit was fresh.
Exactly.
So there was nothing that they could tell me that was like...
Yes, that's such a discovery about, being able to pitch other people. It's like, listen, I may not be all that great, but my, the people I'm with are.
Definitely one of the things that I think made up con art's success was that we had this kind of arsenal of artists from all over the world that were all of different ethnic backgrounds, that all had kind of different styles and interests, listened to different music. They all brought different strengths to the table. And so with some of the other companies, they were like, kind of featuring one designer. And so we had kind of a lot of designers with a lot of different flavors to offer.